Close your eyes. Listen. Hear that? It's not the noise of the world. It's the silence within you. It's been waiting for you. Patiently, quietly. Because it knows that silence is where strength is born, where resolve is forged, where greatness begins. But the world doesn't want you to know this. The world wants chaos. It thrives on the noise, the distractions, the never-ending stream of voices telling you who to be, what to do, and how to feel. The noise. It's designed to make you forget your power. Because the truth is, they fear you. Not the loud version of you. Not the one who shouts and reacts. But the still version of you. The version that doesn't flinch, doesn't waver, doesn't break. Let me tell you a story. Not of triumphs, but of stillness. Not of battles fought with swords and screams, but battles won with silence and strength. A story of a soul who found power in the quiet and became unstoppable. There was a time when they thought they could break you. Do you remember it? The laughter, the whispers behind closed doors, the pointed fingers. They wanted you to crack, to explode, to prove them right. And you almost did. The noise was deafening. Doubts crept in like shadows, whispering lies you almost believed. You're not enough. You'll never make it. Just stop trying. But deep down, there was another voice. Faint, barely audible. It didn't shout. It didn't plead. It simply said, wait. So you waited. While they screamed, you listened. While they acted, you observed. And in that stillness, you began to see the truth. The truth about yourself. The truth about them. The ones who scream the loudest, they're the weakest. They're the ones who fear silence because silence reveals the cracks, the insecurities, the lies. And you chose silence, not because you were weak, but because you were waiting, because you were building. There came a day when the noise reached its peak. The accusations, the betrayals, the setbacks. It was as if the world had conspired to test you, to see just how much you could endure. But it wasn't endurance born of ignorance. Number You saw the chaos for what it was. A game, a test, a distraction. They wanted to rattle you, to see you falter. But you didn't give them what they wanted. Instead, you gave them silence, composure, strength. And do you know what happened? They panicked. Because silence, true silence, is a mirror. It reflects their fears, their weaknesses, their failures. That was the moment they realized you were different, that you weren't playing by their rules, that you had become something they couldn't control. But let's not pretend it was easy. Silence is heavy. Stillness can feel like suffocation. There were nights when the weight of it all pressed against your chest, threatening to crush you. The world doesn't stop just because you choose silence. The doubts don't vanish. The pain doesn't fade. You've walked through the darkness. You've stared into the void and felt it stare back. And yet, you kept walking. Not because you were fearless, but because you understood the truth. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your teacher. Pain is not your weakness. Pain is your forge. In the darkness, you found your strength. Not in spite of it, but because of it. The shadows taught you resilience. The silence taught you patience. And the stillness, it taught you control. Now look at yourself. Look at who you've become. The world tried to shake you, and you stood firm. They tried to drown you in noise, and you rose above it. They wanted chaos, but you gave them composure. And here's the thing about composure. It's not just a shield, it's a weapon. Every time you hold your ground, every time you refuse to break, you're showing them the truth. That their chaos is powerless against your calm. That their noise is meaningless against your silence. Do you see it now? Do you feel it? The power you've built, the strength you've earned. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's unshakable. And that's what makes it unstoppable. But this isn't the end of your story. Not even close. The world will keep testing you. The noise will return, louder than ever. The chaos will try to pull you back in. And you'll stand firm. You'll stay silent. You'll keep building. Because silence is not the absence of sound. It's the presence of strength. It's the choice to remain unshaken, even when the world trembles around you. Your journey isn't about reaching a destination. It's about becoming. Becoming the person who doesn't just survive the storm, but thrives in it. Becoming the person who doesn't just endure the darkness, but becomes the light within it. So keep going, keep building, keep becoming. The noise will never stop, but neither will your strength. This is your story, and it's only just beginning. As the silence grows stronger, so does the storm. It's as if the world senses your strength and refuses to let it go unchallenged. And that's the thing about storms. They never arrive when you're ready. They come uninvited, unrelenting, unapologetic. But this storm is different. It doesn't rage with wind or thunder. It whispers, it taunts. It sneaks into your thoughts, planting seeds of doubt where your strength once flourished. Are you sure you're strong enough? It asks. What if this time you break? And for a moment, you hesitate. For a moment, you falter. But then, you remember, storms don't last. Silence does, strength does. And as the storm builds, so do you. The storm's greatest weapon isn't the chaos, it's the doubt. The quiet, insidious voice that tries to convince you that your silence is weakness, that your calm is surrender. But you know better. You've seen the power of your stillness. You've felt it ripple through the chaos, turning fear into fuel, turning pain into power. So you face the storm, not with anger, not with panic, but with quiet resolve. You let the whispers come, and then you let them go. Because you've learned that not every voice deserves your attention. Not every challenge requires a reaction. Every storm leaves something behind. Debris, destruction, scars. But it also leaves space. Space to rebuild. Space to grow. And that's what you do. You take the broken pieces, the shattered dreams, the whispered doubts, and you turn them into something stronger. This is your foundation. It's not perfect. It's not without flaws, but it's yours. And with every storm, it becomes unshakable. Your silence, do you see it now? It's no longer just yours. It's spreading, quietly, subtly, like ripples in still water. It's reaching places you can't even see yet. But here's the beauty. The world notices. It may not admit it, but it feels the shift. The ones who doubted you, who shouted the loudest, now find themselves disoriented. They've thrown everything they had at you. Noise, chaos, distractions. And yet, you remain. Still, strong, watching them crumble under the weight of their own chaos. What they don't understand is this. Silence isn't passive. It's not the absence of action. It's the most deliberate action there is. A statement louder than any scream. A declaration of control, of power, of unwavering strength. Every storm has its breaking point. And now, it's not you who's breaking. It's them. Their noise is faltering. Their chaos is unraveling. Not because it's weak, but because you're stronger. You've become the eye of the storm. Still, centered, untouched. And while the winds rage around you, something extraordinary happens. The chaos begins to work for you. It pushes you forward, lifting you higher, clearing the path ahead. Because you're not fighting the storm anymore. You've harnessed it. Look around you. The world that once sought to drown you is now drawn to you. Not because it understands your silence, but because it envies it. Because in your stillness, it sees what it lacks: clarity, purpose, strength. And here's the truth. The world doesn't need more noise. It doesn't need more chaos. It needs anchors, beacons, people who can stand firm when everything else is falling apart. People like you. There's a moment when silence turns into something more. It stops being just a defense and starts becoming a force, a quiet revolution. It's not loud. It doesn't scream for attention, but its presence, unignorable. You felt it, the shift. The ones who once dismissed you now pause. Their voices falter, their confidence wavers, because they see something in you they don't understand. An unshaken core, a strength they can't rattle. Silence has shifted the power dynamic. It's no longer about their chaos. It's about your calm. It's about how your stillness exposes their noise for what it is: hollow. The world follows the loud, the flashy, the ones who demand attention. But true leaders, they don't need to shout. They don't need to fight for the spotlight. Their actions, their presence, their silence, it speaks for them. And you? You've become that leader. Not by choice, but by necessity. The quiet strength you've cultivated has drawn others to you. They see in you what they wish they had. The ability to stand firm in a world that's constantly shaking. But leadership comes with a weight. It's not enough to stand for yourself. Now you must stand for others, to show them that strength isn't about noise, but about resilience. To guide them, not with words, but with unwavering action. The revolution isn't about overthrowing the chaos. It's about rising above it. It's about proving that calm is more powerful than chaos, that stillness can conquer the storm. And now, the call isn't just for you. It's for everyone who's watching, everyone who's waiting for permission to rise. Your silence has become their rallying cry, your strength, their inspiration. So rise, not for them, but for yourself. Rise, because the world needs your calm. Rise, because the noise will never stop, but neither will your strength. The storm has passed, but its mark remains, not as destruction, but as a reminder of what you've overcome, a reminder of who you've become. But this isn't just about survival. It's about the echo you leave behind. The world watched as you endured. It saw the chaos try to break you, and it saw you rise. And now it listens, not to the noise, but to the silence you created. A silence that isn't emptiness, but power. A silence that inspires. This is where most stories would end, but not yours. Because strength isn't a destination, it's a journey. And every step you take creates a ripple. Every moment of composure, every act of resilience, every choice to rise instead of react. It spreads. It touches lives you may never see, inspiring strength in places you may never visit. The chaos will return. It always does. But you've seen it now for what it truly is. Temporary. Fleeting. And every time it comes, you'll face it. Not with fear, but with certainty. Certainty that you are stronger. Certainty that silence is your greatest weapon. So walk forward, not as someone who has conquered, but as someone who continues to rise. Be the calm in a chaotic world. Be the anchor when others drift. Be the light in the storm. And when the world asks, how did they do it? How did they endure? Let your silence be the answer. Let your strength be the echo. Because your journey doesn't end here. It never will. This is the power of the strong. This is your legacy. And this is only the beginning.